Welcome to 5 Minutes of Peace, a time for you to reflect, recharge, and renew. 5 minutes to awaken something within yourself. Created by thepeaceroom.love. Here is today's message for you. Today's reading is from Practical Thinking by Edward De Bono. Imagination. Imagination is a big and useful word. Precise definition is difficult, and the usefulness of the word is not increased by such definition. There seem to be 4 aspects of imagination. 1. Picture vividness. This means that if one is asked to imagine a person or a scene, one is able to do so with great vividness. You can imagine Aunt Emma so precisely that you can see the way her nose twitches as she talks. You can imagine the fishing harbor from your holiday so vividly that you can see each individual boat tied up by the waterside cafe. Vividness implies richness of detail. Instead of just a blurred impression, you can pick out all the features. 2. Number of alternatives. If you ask someone to give you all the ways he can think of for cooking an egg, he might list boiled, fried, scrambled. Someone else would add baked, omelet. Someone else might add poached. A person who could give the whole list at once might be said to be more imaginative than someone who could name only 3. It is not a matter of having knowledge, but of getting to that knowledge. In practice, it is very difficult to distinguish imagination from knowledge. If you asked someone to give you all the girls' names beginning with S, he might mention 10. Sue, Sally, Shirley, Samantha, Sarah, etc. A girl at school might be able to remember far more by just thinking of her friends. So memory, knowledge, and imagination are all mixed up here. But as in the first case, the important thing is the richness with which one is able to respond to the question. In the first case, it was the richness of detail. Here it is the richness of alternatives. 3. Different ways of looking at something. This means coming up with different ways of looking at something. For instance, someone might say that the bottle is half full of milk. Someone else might say it is half empty. Someone else might say that the bottle is full of a mixture of milk and air. 4. Creative imagination. This involves fantasy and the ability to picture something which has not been experienced directly. It is a matter of putting things together to create a new experience. The use of imagination. The alternative ideas and ways of carrying out an idea listed above came from different minds. Had they all come from the same mind, then one would have regarded that mind as highly imaginative. But what use is imagination? If you have imagination and can find 5 different ways of doing something and then pick out the best one, are you any better off than the person who has no imagination but arrived immediately at the best way? Imagination and unique rightness. Without imagination, one is apt to rely too much on unique rightness. If you cannot imagine any alternative explanations, then it is easy to be convinced that the only one you have is absolutely right. As stated in De Bono's second law, proof is often no more than lack of imagination. Imagination and creativity. Imagination by itself is not creativity any more than numbers are mathematics, but it is one of the ingredients of creativity. If you cannot imagine any alternative explanations, then it is easy to be convinced that the only one you have is absolutely right. Imagination increases the fluency of the basic thinking processes, but does not by itself make them more correct or more useful. Thank you for listening, and thank yourself for taking 5 minutes of peace. We are all connected on the path of love, service, and peace for ourselves and others. We're glad to be together with you on this path. And if you would like to know more about the Peace Room and our Reiki treatments, crystal healings, training sessions, and certification workshops, go to www.thepeaceroom.love. Join us here again whenever you need 5 minutes of peace. This episode is brought to you by White Cloud Coffee Roasters, where every bean tells a story of adventure and passion. Nestled in the heart of Idaho's mountain wilderness, White Cloud has been mastering the craft of coffee for more than 38 years, bringing the spirit of the outdoors into every cup. Discover the difference in their premium beans, meticulously roasted to capture the essence of the mountains. From robust, full-bodied classics to creative flavored blends, White Cloud coffees are designed for you to appreciate the subtleties of premium coffee. Now, listeners of our podcast can get an exclusive 10% discount. Just use the promo code CREATIVITY at checkout. Visit whitecloudcoffee.com and use the code CREATIVITY for your 10% discount. Start your adventure today. Journey to whitecloudcoffee.com.